are back with another hot, spicy,
hot, spicy.
They're piping hot.
What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of
Zing and Kai.
Kai and Zing.
Y'all, we have the tea to spill. So, if you keep up with Married at First Sight, you already know about Ryan and Clara from season 12.
Yeah.
Season 12. We actually did a video about them a few months back, and we were spilling all the tea about their divorce. Ryan stayed silent for months. You guys, tonight he actually posted like 10 slides.
Lots and lots of slides.
And we are gonna,
might we add.
You want to pause the video to read these if you don't have Instagram. He was spilling the tea, y'all. We had, I'm not gonna lie, we were Team Clara.
Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and insert a clip.
That Ryan, this is my whole theory.
He's just full of manipulation.
Ding, ding, ding.
And for what? People who are manipulative like that, I can't say it. Can't say it because I'm not that kind of person.
She's not. But you guys, after reading what Ryan posted, we have a little more insight. We're not necessarily Team Ryan, but let's get into it.
Yeah, so Ryan said lots and lots of things, but the overarching sentiment of his post was that there were some oversights that Claire may have had about just kind of like how important race and culture was and how Ryan is seen throughout the world and how he needed to come to understand and educate herself and accept, you know, who he was as a black man, and she was not willing to do that.
Right. And he mentioned that I mean, it could be a big problem in the future if they have children, for example. It could be a really big problem. So let's kind of break down a little bit of what he said. So there was a lot of insinuations here. You know, we don't want to outright say anything. He was being kind of politically correct, but he wanted to let you know his struggles and why he decided to go forward with the divorce.
Yes. One of the things he said, first thing I want to address, can't truly be open to marry another race and not want to marry their culture. The black experience and black culture are not monolithic. There's no one-size-fits-all shoe. It's ever evolving and changing with time. What I can say is walking into a family gathering and not speaking to anyone and scrolling through your phone will never fly, and declining food outside of food allergy or avoidance because you don't like the way it looks won't help either. So basically what he's saying is that she would go to family gatherings and not speak to his family and also like look at their food like ew and eschew it instead of just trying the food that she was unfamiliar with. I think that was kind of like not okay too.
That is not okay. I don't know if it's like this how black people are raised thing, but like, first of all, you don't walk into a house without saying hi and acknowledging the family. Yeah. So obviously we weren't there. We don't know exactly how she did it, but based off of what we read, it's giving she wasn't very friendly. Also, it's okay to not like certain foods, but if you're going to just not outright not try it, I mean, there had to be some serious issues with the food for me to not try it at a family function. You know, if we're at a stranger's house, oh, I'm not hungry, thanks. But family, come on. It's just giving rude. It's just giving culturally insensitive, if I'm being honest. Like, that just rubs me the wrong way. Like, what I am envisioning when I read that is her just being rude.
Yeah, and what he was saying in the post, which I'm sure you guys have read by now, is that like they had been having these conversations behind the camera, like when the camera wasn't rolling, and that was kind of like an undertone of their relationship the entire time, but he just didn't want to kind of like allow Mass and the editing team to misconstrue anything that was being said because it's such a sacred and important topic.
He also mentioned that even though this was something that was ongoing and conversations that they constantly had while they were filming, he wanted to give the marriage a shot post-filming, post-production. He wanted to give it a shot with the cameras not there. He wanted to see if maybe things could change, maybe they could have these real conversations without the pressure of the world watching their every move. So he mentioned that he was gonna give it a shot, and I guess that's why the divorce blindsided us all, but it didn't blindside him.
Well, here's the thing. What he said and what he implied in this long, long love letter to Black people, I'm just kidding, that not only was she kind of ignorant to Black culture, she wasn't willing to learn it. Those are two very different things.
Yes.
We can't vilify her for not being aware,
No.
right? But you kind of like, if you're gonna be with a Black man, then you should at least be willing to learn about his culture. As Black people, we can identify with that. We have
For sure.
friends and loved ones, other races and ethnicities, and it just helps if you just care enough to try and understand where we're coming from.
Right.
So I empathize. And then
he was also thinking long term though. Like, you're gonna have Black kids. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. So this is something that we need to address now. But go ahead.
I think that's important. And it's another little thing he said about it, ain't got nothing to do with that. He was just like, I think the most unfortunate part of it all, despite the months of weekly marital counseling sessions, etc., 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 I can't say that word, it's being used as content for clicks, likes, TikTok dances, and the attention of the masses. Choosing to ignore having a conversation isn't blindsiding, because that's what she said. That he blindsided her. It's called avoidance. Capitalizing off of that for monetary gain via television specials, amongst other things, feels like the biggest blindside of all.
Ooh.
That was a shot back at Clara.
That was a shot, you
For
guys.
TikTok usage.
Yeah, I don't know who's on TikTok, but your girl has been posting. Okay.
I want you to be happier because I'm happy.
Okay, I have been keeping up with Claire's TikTok, and she likes to post about this little divorce of hers, okay? And at first, I was like, yeah, Clara, go ahead and post it.
Like, heal how you want to. I mean, we can't like say that she's not hurt or that she wasn't blindsided,
But he did a little jab, and I was not.
He wasn't appreciating that, and I can understand.
Yeah,
I can understand
he's very private, as we've learned from watching the season, based off of his silence after, you know, saying they're getting divorced publicly. He's been very silent. So he is a very private person, and then Clara is like the complete opposite. She's just like, no, I want everyone to know this. I want everyone to know what's going on, why it's going on, and how I'm feeling about it. So, you know, they have very opposite ways to cope with this situation, but man, did he spill the tea tonight.
He did. So we just shared with you guys what we empathize with, but there's always the flip side to a coin, right? There's always two sides to a situation, and I think particularly with divorce, we're bystanders, right? So we don't know exactly what went on in the marriage. We don't know what Clara's experience was 100%, and we don't know what Ryan's is. We can only go off what they've told us, what they've shared with us, what we saw on TV, right? So I can't really hop on either side 100% because I feel like there were some things that were said and done that were still irresponsible on Ryan's part.
Yeah, I mean, based off of our first video, Team Clara, you already kind of get a feel of how we feel about Ryan. He's a bit of a
narc.
So obviously we don't know that we weren't in the relationship, but based off of what we saw, with the editing, without the editing, he's a little bit, So go ahead and get into some of your thoughts on that.
So one of my many thoughts about it is that the whole post, to me, it lacked a little bit of accountability. Once he started talking about what his mistakes were in the relationship, they seemed relatively noble compared to what he was suggesting about Claire, which I can't say is true or is not true. We're not there. And if it is true, she really should learn more if she's gonna date Black men, right? But what his mistakes were was I had a hard time opening up. What else did he say? It's so hard just not to know who the perfect person is. I'm sorry, I don't know who the those aren't mistakes, buddy. And so he painted himself in this really noble light, even when expressing what his mistakes were, and then making such a heavy and loaded insinuation about Clara.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was really fair. I think that was like another characteristic of narcs, which I'm learning a lot about that here lately. Oh, the whole idea that like you're actively like only dating white women.
Oh yes, let's get into it. So apparently during the Married at First Sight like matchmaking special, he specified that he has only dated white people in the past, right? So that's off rip, like we're seeing a trend, we're seeing a preference, and it's giving that you are so woke.
And the thing about it is, it's like, I hate to say it, this is gonna sound controversial, but like, just because a woman is dating you doesn't make it her responsibility to be more woke than you, right? Because you're gonna meet the white. There are white people who take on the plight and they try to learn as much, and you know that up front if they're that invested in understanding the Black experience. And then there are others who aren't as aware, right? And we talk about that all the time, how we don't have the energy to teach, right? You know that about people. And unfortunately, you decided to get married at first sight, to like blame her for just kind of like being her. And like, it just seems a little like, buddy. It makes it very hard to empathize because you only have dated white women.
Which, again, there's no problem with that, but that's just the facts. Like, that's just what he's done. So, but that's not to invalidate his experience. It's not to say that what he said, you know, wasn't true.
A lot of validity there, and I'm glad that he added dimension to that divorce.
Me too, because we were all, like, against Ryan.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, that was a lot. He spilled a lot. Again, go ahead and, you know, rewind, pause the video, read what he wrote, because it was a lot and it was crazy.
Oh, and also, this is just my little word of advice, buddy. I don't even know if it's a word of advice, but like the idea that your biggest sin is that you don't know what it is to find the right person for you because you've never met them. Hey, you think you're gonna find them by going on a show and marrying a stranger? ? And then also, you've never been in love with anybody before?
Right, and let's not even talk about that forced "I love you" on the reunion special.
It's giving like I would say he should do like some soul searching about like why is it that there's no one that you've ever come across that you've been able to at least like feel strongly enough for to try to like work things out or try to blend in, you know, with them, because that's what people do, right? We relate to people, we fall in love with them, and we try to make it work because we love them. Have you ever led with your heart? Is that possible?
These are questions that Ryan needs to ask himself. But anyway, we just wanted to hop on here, let y'all know the tea. If you're not on Instagram or the millions of maths groups that we are in on Facebook, we just wanted to share the tea. Y'all comment down below your thoughts, because this is getting interesting. Like, who knows if Claire is gonna clap back? Who knows?
Well, she did post something about being judged and stuff like that. If I were on her side of things, I would feel a type of way.
Yeah, he definitely like threw some jabs in there, and her comment section is probably gonna be crazy for the next few days, maybe even week. But we wish the best to both Ryan and Clara, because
I pray for healing for them.
Absolutely.
You know, and if they don't want to be experiencing this in the public eye, you know, they should, you know,
maybe stop posting. But anyway, that was the tea. Thank you so much for watching. It's Zing and Kai.
Bye.
Bye.